This time I got another Sony camera that's been shipped in. This is another Digital 8 model that has analog playback, and this one's used by a local company that's digitizing people's tapes. So this one's probably got a lot of hours on it. But anyway, they got a complaint that the picture's not right. We're going to have to dig into this one to see what it is, because initially it didn't seem to be too bad. But as time wore on, the fault reared its ugly head. Today I have a DCRTR7000. This is a Digital 8 without a flip-out screen. It should have analog playback capability, I believe, on this one. This is an earlier model. And the complaint on this one is when they're transferring tapes, they're getting the lines in the picture. So I'm going to connect it up to my monitor, do a playback, and see what the symptom is. This is owned by a local company that does archiving. My competition, but not close enough to me to be my competition. But I maintain their equipment for them. I've had a few of their cameras in over the last little while, and I have yet another one to take a look at. So first I'll try playing an analog tape, and we'll see how the analog tape plays first, and see whether it's something that can be resurrected on this, and see what the problem is. So I'll put it into VTR mode and take a look at the picture on playback. Okay, I'm getting a bit of a disturbance on playback from an analog recording. That's kind of an interesting fault. If you notice the picture flickering at the top of the screen there. I'll put a Digital 8 tape in now. That seems to be playing fine. Just fast forward past the color bars. '99, that's when I recorded this. And of course I'm going to have to shut the sound off on this for obvious reasons. But I don't see any disruption in the picture. This would have been recorded using a VX3 and a EVW300. This was all high 8 that this was shot on. It was edited and then output to Digital 8 to make the dubs from. I'm pretty sure this was all high 8 that this was shot on. But I don't see any problems with the picture on playback. A little glitch there. I wonder if the alignment is just off just a bit and error correction is fixing it on the Digital 8 tape. Move the camera a bit and see whether anything happens. Well, Digital 8 appears to play fine, so let's go back to the analog tape. Here's a look inside the camera itself. It looks to be fairly clean in here. This is a similar chassis to my older DCRTR7000. In fact, I think it's probably almost the same camera as the 110. It looks to be the same, other than the fact that the 110 had a flip-out screen on the side and this one does not. And this one has a color viewfinder, and the 110 only had a black and white tube type viewfinder, but the chassis looks to be the same. I'm just checking to see if there's anything that's loose, if any of the guides or anything have moved on here, but they are not. The guides are all tight, so I don't think we've got an alignment problem, as nothing is moving. Like the guides are tight, as you can see, they don't move. So I don't think we have an alignment problem on here. I'm just going to load that analog tape once more. I should add that these were excellent analog recorders. I used to plug my EVW300 in using the S-Video in and use my TR110 as a recorder, and I got amazing quality off that 3-chip camera. It really made the Digital 8 format shine, and I did that on a number of productions. picture right now seems to be okay. I wonder if a head was clogging up a bit on it. These ones do suffer from the edge connectors that cause problems on it, but I'm not seeing any indication that that's causing a problem. These ones also suffered from the notorious the catch that holds the cassette compartment closed, cutting away into the flex cable here. This one might have been produced after they fixed that problem. I don't see any scratching on here. Where that usually occurs is right here. From this latch, they would cut across here and put a scratch in it and cut right through, but I don't see any indication that that is happening. That happened on mine. I had to change this chassis on mine. If you remember, there was a 3-part video where I had to do that because it interrupted the photo sensor for the take-up spool. So I got the dreaded, I think it was 3123, I think was the error, somewhere, something in there, but the rotation sensor wasn't being detected because the flex cable here got severed by a burr that was on this little latch right there. Cut through. That was a big problem with a lot of these machines here. Another problem that sometimes happens on them, which doesn't look like it's occurring on this one, but the little plastic keeper that goes on the pinch roller tends to crack and cause the pinch roller to become loose and start to ride up a bit. And when that happens, the tape can ride up and down and cause what looks like an alignment problem. But I don't see any excessive play. The pinch roller can wear too. That's another thing that could be that's causing lines in the picture. Is the pinch roller itself can wear. The bearing here can wear out and cause the pinch roller to move. This one's looking a little bit loose. That might be where its problem is right there. You see how loose that is? That might be the problem on this one that's causing those lines, because as the pinch roller is rotating, if it's flexing like this at all, it can cause a tape to shift up and down slightly, which of course will cause an alignment problem, and you get lines in the picture. That could very well be what the fault is. So I'm just going to monitor this. I'm going to play this tape and I'll look and see if I can spot any tape movement. I'm going to have to pull the side cover off so that I can search the tape forward and backwards while the tape's in it and see if the tape is moving, because obviously we can't see the pinch roller when it's put together like this. So I'm going to take the tape out, we'll open up the side cover. I just want to do an inspection. And the nice thing about these machines is that you can actually run it with the cover off and see what's going on. Had a bunch more stuff arrive at the post office today for repair. Unfortunately, I was unable to pick it all up because one of the people that shipped me something, a broken high 8 deck, declared it as being worth, I think, $300 when it's in fact worth $0 because it's broken. So it's sitting right now with a $70 tax bill, and I'm sure someone's going to chime off there about Canada and their tax bills. Well, when you import something into Canada, there are taxes to be paid. They don't know whether I'm buying it or whether it's being shipped in to be repaired, because of course people don't tell them that. When you buy something in a store, you pay sales tax. And I know that a lot of the states charge that too, because if you buy something in Washington State, I think there's about, 10% or 9.75%, something like that, sales tax. Well, here we have 7% provincial tax and 5% federal tax on things that we buy. Everything you buy has tax. And it doesn't matter whether you're buying it in a retail store or you're buying it from someone off eBay. Everything is taxed, including used cars. You buy a used car, you pay tax on it. Whether you buy it privately or you buy it at a dealer, there's tax charged. So when someone puts a declared value on an item to the government, that's the same as buying it in a store, and it's then going to have taxes applied. And there's no way out of it. The person that owns it either has to pay the tax to get it to me to repair, or if they don't, then it goes back to them, collect. That's the way it is. I tell every person that sends me something when it's coming in the mail from the States or wherever, do not put a declared value on anything, because really there is no value on a piece of equipment that's broken. It has $0 value, and there's no guarantee that it can even be repaired. I think I got all the screws out of this. But this error happens over and over and over again. You know, it's kind of frustrating on my part, because I get a notification that there's something for me to pick up, and I make the effort to go to pick it up only to be told that I've got to leave a bunch of cash behind or I'm not getting it. So then I got to get a hold of the person that sent it and let them know that they've got to pay me before I pick it up. I got to pull this whole camera apart to get this off, because I just forgot there's a screw that's on the other side that I have to take out from this side. So I actually have to pull this entire unit apart to take that cover off. It's been so long since I've opened one of these up, I totally forgot about that, but that's okay. I think this side will come off now. Oh, another one on the back here. Always one or two extra screws. Always. Now the side cover comes off, and I can unplug the viewfinder, remove the battery terminal to get to that elusive screw that's hiding down here that's preventing me from removing the side cover. I wonder how many guys that try to take these cameras apart miss that one the first time. Now the side cover comes. The reason they have that there is because there's another connector you have to unplug here. So they want to make sure that you're disassembling the entire unit so that you can get into it, just so that you can undo that connector. I should be able to operate this unit now with it apart. I probably do have to plug that side board in though, because I think the power switch is on this. Yeah, the power switch is on this side, so I got to plug this side connector in order for the camera to power up, and then I can operate it with it apart. One other thing, you got to plug in this connector because the eject switch is right there. So you have to plug the front in order to open this up so we can load a tape for testing. But once the tape is in place, then it can operate without having to have anything else connected. Okay, so what I wanted to do is I want to just look and see what the tape is doing here as it operates when I go through the different modes, like search forward and search backwards. Okay, we're looking at the tape as it goes over the pinch roller and the capstan. It does look like it's shifting ever so slightly if you look right down here. See a little bit of a curl forming on the tape. So it might be that the pinch roller is just starting to wear a bit. That's what I suspect is going on, is that the pinch roller itself is wearing out. I mean, it doesn't show signs of excessive wear looking at it, but the bearing itself could be worn to the point where it's starting to shift slightly. So as the tape plays, the alignment is shifting. I'm just going to let it play here for a while and monitor it, see what it does. I don't know if I've got a pinch roller. I might have one in a parts camera, as I generally try to keep the chassis of scrap units just for mechanical parts that I can use. That's why I'm get inquiries from people all the time asking to buy broken cameras and so forth, and I've sent a few out to people. But this is why they're asking for scrap cameras, is because they're looking for parts to pick off of them, because you can't get these parts new anymore. So I get people asking me on a regular basis. So I don't know if I've got one or not. I might have one that's in better shape than this one that has less miles on it. As I mentioned, this is a camera that's used by a business that archives tapes, so it's going to have a lot of hours on it, like my equipment. It just when they're archiving tapes for people, it's going constantly. Okay, the picture just went really bad here. After it played for a while, it almost looks like the heads are dirty. I'm going to remove the bottom shield cover off the head, and we'll try clearing the head with a good old fingernail. Okay, I've got the shield cover removed. Let's just try the back of the fingernail on the spinning head. Now, I've got this plasma might interfere with it here, but let's just see whether it'll come clear. I may have to put it on the other monitor, because with the shield cover moved away here, I'm going to get a lot of interference from plasma monitor itself. It looks like I've lost a head, is what it looks like. Like one of the heads has dropped right out. I wonder if it's this connector here. Oh, you know what? There's the problem. It's the connector. It's the connector. Look, now the picture's clear. It's the damn connector. That is the problem. It's this connector here. Okay, well, another one that's caused by bad connectors. It was just fluke that was playing, and it all of a sudden I got a bad picture on it. And I tried cleaning the head. Well, you guys saw that. Didn't seem to do anything. I just happened to touch the flex connector, and the picture came back. So that's where the fault is on this one. It's right here on this connector. Let's just reseat everything. So like all of these cameras in the B mechanism and the A mechanism chassis, this one's a B mechanism, they all have the same fault. Where the connectors plug in, you get bad connections. And this is the head drum. This is the one that goes to the rotary transformer. That's the preamp. But we're going to pull them all, because if one is bad, they'll all be problematic. So we'll just do them all. And that's going to be that's going to be the problem here. So sometimes you got to let things run for a while before they rear their ugly heads and show the fault, right? I'm going to carefully undo this one. I don't want to damage it, so we're going to just put something underneath it here to kind of ease it out. There we go. I can reseat it again. Now you might ask why I'm not putting anything on here. Why I'm not putting contact cleaner and stuff on here. Well, the problem with contact cleaners, and it doesn't matter what you use, they all have a petroleum-based lubricant. And the problem that happens with any of these contact cleaners that you put on is that they can provide a resistance path. And that resistance path can interfere with the signals that they're passing. So I don't like to put cleaners on. I used to do that when I was working in the shop. We used to clean them, and we used to put contact cleaner on. And that was just because the guy that owned the shop, he was big on using cleaners and so forth, and would say it would provide a better, give us a better contact. But the problem is when you're dealing with the very low signals coming off the video head, having anything else in there that could cause signals to cross over from one track to the next is probably not a good thing. Alright, put the head shield back on. We'll power it up and I'll run it some more, but I think this is probably going to solve the issue on this one. I say I only had to run it for, I don't know, half an hour there before it acted up. I'll let it run some more, make sure that everything's good, but I think this is probably going to solve the issue on this one now that I saw it do it. And play. Oh, yeah, there we go. Goes into play. Anyway, I'm going to let this thing run for a while and make sure that everything's good. But I'm pretty confident now after seeing that the problem has been resolved. The picture's actually looking better than it was before because it was noisy before. Even before it all broke up and went to lines, it was noisy. Like it looked like the signal was low. And it probably was, just due to that connector oxidating over all those years. So I'm going to let this run for a bit and we'll put it together once I'm happy that it's working. So far so good. It's been going now for probably about 45 minutes. Still going strong, no problems. Okay, this unit's been playing now for over an hour and been no issues, so I'm going to stop it and we'll reassemble the camera. I won't remove the tape until I've reassembled the camera, only for the simple reason is, well, I gotta plug the button pack in to do that, so might as well just do it all at once. I'll put the right side housing back on first. And throw the one screw in that holds it together. One thing I really dislike about this silicon workbench is that it's got magnets in here, and every time I go to pick up a screw, if there's a magnet there, it demagnetizes my screwdriver. I'm almost tempted to cut the thing open and remove the magnets from the bottom, just because they're kind of useless as far as I'm concerned. They're there to hold parts so you don't drop parts, but when you're dealing with a magnetic screwdriver, it has a tendency to demagnetize the screwdriver. The whole reason for having a magnetic screwdriver is so you can pick parts up with it. Alright, the rest of the chassis on these, say these ones go together real simple. Drop the battery compartment in place and then the unit just slides together. What this is for is this is to reduce sound from the mechanism being picked up by the microphones. It's not necessary, but that's what it was there for. No other reason, just to keep the sound down. Because with the head drum spinning at 4,500 RPM when recording digital 8, which is all this camera recorded, it did not record standard 8mm or high 8. It was a digital 8 only recording. It could play back standard 8mm, but in digital 8 mode, of course, the head drum is rotating at 4,500 RPM, and that tended to make a fair bit of noise. And I did it again. I put my screwdriver too close to that magnet and wiped it. Stupid magnets. It's quite annoying, because I tend to do that about 3 times every time I'm using this stupid work pad here, silicon work pad. I tend to demagnetize my screwdriver multiple times and hit the eject button. Really easier to put this piece on with the cassette raised. It's funny, you know, I'm at work and my phone will go off and the customer will say, "What's that noise?" I got email. I got a message. Of course, what's even funnier is when a friend calls at work and this ringtone goes off. Hold on. Cassette compartment. That. You can hear the drum winding up there. And I'm all back together and everything should be working. We'll just give it a final test before shipping this one back to the owner of it. I could actually deliver this thing for them, probably cheaper than shipping it, but... And play. And there it is, back together and producing good pictures. If you're wondering what that cord is, it's an HDMI cord going to my monitor for watching TV on my other little plasma, going to my cable box. So I've been testing out a plasma here that was given to me that I fixed up, and I've been using it to watch TV from the old cable box. Anyway, this one's all done. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.